Are you or a loved one suffering from a medical coincidence? You want proper medical care, but you don't want people sniffing around asking a whole bunch of questions about what might be causing your problem. At the Kaufman Institute for Coincidence, we won't look into the cause of your heart or other problem, we'll just fix it. That's right, we promise to only look at your symptoms. We won't get all curious looking for causes, because that could get your employer or your doctor into some legal hot water. And nobody wants that. At Kaufman, we understand that coincidence is now the leading cause of death.
Hey, we've got another coincidence over here.
If we want to operate at the speed of science, there's no time for looking for causes. No pesky questions about drugs or vaccines you may have been given. At Kaufman, we specialize in the effects and leave the causes to the conspiracy theorists. And let's be honest, we know the cause anyway. It was a coincidence, right? For each new patient, Kaufman's talented team of doctors strap on their blinders and look directly at the problem area, usually the heart, just like the CDC recommends. Our main campus now treats myocarditis, blood clots, heart arrhythmia, stroke, heart attack, magnetic skin, difficulty breathing, full body blisters and burning, convulsions, kidney failure, memory loss, cancer, sudden death, and much, much more. Give your coincidence the attention it deserves, but not the wrong kind of attention. At Kaufman. Schedule your appointment today at kaufmancoincidence.com and receive a doctor's note with a real sciencey sounding explanation to provide to your anti-vax friends, proving to them it was definitely not the vaccine that caused your coincidence. Kaufman, because coincidences happen pretty much all the time.
Official medical coincidence partner of the NFL.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, whoever.
Good Monday, guys. How you doing? Is that a heart? Does that look like a heart? There we go.
Yeah.
Does that look like a Q to you?
Wait.
Is that right? That's the cue. I don't think that's the way you're supposed to do that. That's a different symbol. Oh gosh.
Ew, that's the same symbol I got trouble, in elementary school as a kid.
I think you're doing it a little more like that.
Yeah, I was doing it more like that, and right in front of a girl too. So
The right perspective, that looks like a Q.
yeah.
Just depends on what angle you're looking at it from, right?
Yeah. As an adult, that is funny. I still do that from time to time. Like, some make some sort of like sexual innuendo and just make eye contact with someone and go, like you need to explain it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I got it. Yeah, buddy. Okay. They're talking about sex.
Sean is of the age that he picks up on a lot of that stuff pretty quick. So
he picks up on it, but he probably does. Like he really doesn't fully understand it.
Well, he knows what it means, and like he'll blush. So as soon as he does that, then that means I'm doubling down. Like I've got to make it as bad as possible. Like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like, oh
Coitus.
my God, Dad, would you shut up?
Your mother and I have had coitus.
He said, "You're a virgin, aren't you?" I said, "Well, there's at least proof that I've had sex twice in my life."
Oh, it took me a second to figure out what Corey was talking about here.
Yeah.
Slow, deliberate jerk off motion is good too. The eye roll. Yeah. So, how's everyone's Monday?
Not too shabby.
Not horrible. So
Cool.
We stayed up too late playing Destiny again, like we are prone to do. So, but I was not the one who slept in this morning. I woke up at about right at 6 o'clock, and which is not unusual for me if I don't have to go to work, or if I'm don't have to take the kids to school or whatever. And I rolled over and Stephanie was still laying there, just like dead. I poked her. I was like, "Do you not have to go to work today?" She said, "Yeah." I was like, "You should have been up a long time ago." She's like, "Oh crap! I must have turned off my alarm Friday." I'm like, "Yeah." Like, I'm the guy that sleeps all day. I'm not the one that you should be relying on to wake you up to go to work in the morning. You need to have an alarm set there.
The guy with absolutely no regular schedule.
Yeah.
Like I have to wake up at the same time, like usually, like even on off days, but like and so my alarm, I usually try to keep my alarm on like every day, but my wife like turns them off sometimes, and then I have to like go back and like turn them on. It's like,
well, that's the hazard of small children. You have to get up with them and feed them and clothe them and things like that. Once they get old enough to fend for themselves, then it's like, do I want to feed the kids today? Like, they're teenagers. If they can't figure it out by now, they're not going to make it anyway.
There's Frosted Flakes in there.
They're shit in the kitchen. They'll figure it out. I'm going back to bed.
Like, teach them how to use the stove now, and they should be able to use it. And hopefully, I don't wake up to a fire in the house.
Sean's actually not a bad cook. I mean, he makes. Granted, the only things that he cooks are like little kid food, but in a slightly more professional manner,
with hollandaise sauce.
Yeah, it's just for real. Like he will make the shit out of some grilled cheese, and it's like gourmet grilled cheese. Like he uses
good grilled cheese.
He'll use like 3 or 4 different cheeses, and he puts a little bit of garlic salt on the bread when he's like grilling it, and like he does all this, like goes out like way over the top. I'm like, dude, it's just a fucking grilled cheese. Like there's no sustenance to this. Make some real food. You can't live off of grilled cheese sandwiches.
Oh man, but you get like a fancy bread and a higher quality cheese and like American cheese. And then, you go the extra step with a slice of tomato. You can really do up a grilled cheese now. Make it good.
You get a little bit of a sliced turkey, like some good turkey slices, and then you brown that a little bit and put it on there as the cheese is melting, and then let the cheese melt through it. I mean, granted, now we're taking it to like actual sandwich level. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not. Hey, that's fine. Get there with a slice of ham in there, hot ham and cheese. Ooh, shit, yeah.
Okay. Now you're talking.
All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta make breakfast. So you guys need to share it out.
All this food talk getting us hungry. What do we want to start with today? Actually, okay. Let's. So I ran that intro deliberately because we talked about it on. Johnny and I talked about it on Peddling Fiction on Friday, but somebody had sent in our group chat the Neil deGrasse Tyson talking to what's his name on the High Wire.
Yeah, where he's talking about like the
Dale Bigtree.
I
don't know why I blanked on his name all of a sudden. Anyway, this is Dale Bigtree talking to Neil deGrasse Tyson about the
medical consensus,
COVID, the medical consensus stuff, and like Neil deGrasse Tyson,
he's a joke.
I'm going to start this and let the two of them kind of talk, and where I'm going to start or where I'm going to end it is the key line from this whole this whole interaction of like what Neil deGrasse Tyson believes about science. It is pretty fucking batshit crazy.
Actually,
actually,
we have Peter McCullough, world-renowned heart doctor, saying, "I am seeing a rise in myocarditis because of this vaccine." We have the leading ICU, second most published science, Paul Merrick. Hear me out here. Hear me out. I know you. I know. All right. These have all been on my show. Dr. Robert Malone, part of the inventing factor behind the mRNA vaccine. All these people have been censored. They were shut down. They were kept from talking to the people in Washington. Johnny and was putting out the data. Dr. J, I'll show you. Okay. Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, Dr. Sunetra Gupta, Dr. Martin Kulldorff, Oxford University, Harvard School of Medicine, Stanford School of Medicine. They put together the Great Barrington Declaration, which was an approach towards this to say, let's protect that simple small group that we know needs to be protected and figure out a way the rest of us can establish a herd immunity around them. And the NIH, who's supposed to be objective on this, we now have internal email because this is what I do. I actually put in FOIA requests. We know that this is what Francis Collins said about those people before even talking to them. There needs to be a quick and devastating published takedown of the premise brought by these scientists. That was the approach to science. No other science can be allowed in here. You started this out by saying Every challenge should come in. Every way to say that we don't agree with the hypothesis. Maybe these people say you don't need the vaccine. There's a way through this, or we should be tactical with the vaccine. All of these people were kept out of the conversation.
All I can comment
and you
in
were
there-
wanting me to sign onto a social contract where the scientific method isn't being used.
Okay, that list of highly pedigreed medical professionals that you are citing.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in medical pedigree. I'm interested in medical consensus.
I mean, that's it. That's the line right there. They're not interested in medical pedigree. They're interested in consensus. They want the most people to agree to the same thing, and that's, you have to push the narrative, and that's it. It's like, so when we talked about this on Friday, I said, yeah, okay, so you've got a hospital full of doctors. You know, if you've got a brain tumor and the one, you know, brain surgeon in the hospital says that you need to have the tumor removed, and every other doctor in the hospital who is not a brain surgeon thinks that you should just, you know, wait it out. Well, medical consensus says that you should wait it out, but the actual expert says that you need surgery. So in this case, I don't give a fuck what your consensus is. Why don't we listen to the experts who actually know what the fuck they're talking about?
Well, it's because it's not about the consensus. It's it's not even consensus. Like that's he's lying about that, because it's not consensus. Because let's say that, you know, they weren't all gung ho. Like all doctors weren't gung ho about the vaccine when it first came out. Let's just say that there was a more consensus, like that the being anti-vax, I guess. Like let's just say that was the case. Then they would literally just crush it to anyway. That it doesn't matter about the consensus. It was literally about we have one particular solution, and that's the solution that we want to use. They don't care about consensus, because there's so much else that they could use consensus on too, and they don't use it. They don't apply it at all. Like, it doesn't matter.
You could argue, okay, so like let me go ahead and, you know, like Steelman Tyson here and be like, okay, you could certainly say that, like, in a lot of instances, if there is a if there is some sort of consensus and it's, you know, whatever among scientific community, you know, you might say, well, you know, it's something I don't really know a lot about or whatever. I'm going to might be more apt to believe the general consensus. Okay. And like, that's fair. But when the whole point of this was, there was the email he showed that showed that they were forcing the consensus to be one thing. It wasn't a consensus that came about, you know, organically or whatever. So just that email existing, like, he has to address that, or what he's saying about, I'm going for the consensus. You can't.
So, you know, yeah, because like, well, it's manufactured consensus,
right? Exactly.
That's
so it's like, there is no consensus really if it's manufactured.
Yeah.
Well, and like, you know, when they talk about consensus and experts and all of this, I remember the list of however many hundred or the hundreds of experts that were calling for Joe Rogan to be removed from Spotify. But then when you went through the list, it was a bunch of fucking podcasters and PhD students. Like, that means I'm an expert. Like, yeah. And obviously a bunch of podcasters are going to want Joe Rogan taken off Spotify. That's their direct competition. Like, no shit. That was literally the qualification that some of them had listed was blogger / podcaster. It's like, does this person have a PhD in like literally anything? And there were a bunch of them who were like Jill Biden types of PhDs. Like it was a like PhD in mathematics or something.
English, it was like PhD in English, and
that doesn't count. Like, that doesn't count.
I'm a doctor in English.
It's just insane.
Yeah, we did say that word a lot there for a second. You know, you probably would have been hammered.
The consensus. So this story's like two weeks old. But I thought it was really funny. I feel like we would have had to have talked about it on here, but I don't remember. So I'll bring it up. Let's see. Boo. hold on. I'm getting this. Just wait.
I mean, to
Here
be
we go.
fair, we have some episodes where we cover like literally 15 topics
Yeah.
in the matter of an hour, so it's hard to keep up with everything that we talk about. Oh, I remember this, but I don't think we did talk
This was
about
real? This
Yeah, it
was real?
was real. This was legit.
No
This is 100%.
way. I literally thought when I saw this headline, I was like, no way. Like this is just a meme. Like people were joking. I didn't know it was a legit Rolling Stone article.
I think this happened when I was out of town a couple weeks
ago. A lot of stories, yeah. But yeah, I guess he enjoyed 21 Jump Street so much that he's like, well, they can't all be bad. So.
I mean, it was a good movie. I mean, it
was funny. That was one of the
first I wouldn't
movies.
say it was that groundbreaking.
I don't know that it was good enough to end anti-Semitism, but I mean, it was a pretty solid movie.
I mean, it was one of the first movies that made me feel some type of age. Because when it shows him back in like middle school or high school, like, oh my God, like the white t-shirt, like the jean shorts, the ball, the metal ball necklace, the bleach, like it was like, holy fuck, that was high school. You know, like, oh my God, it was just the first time I felt dated, you know?
Well, and then they also have the callback where they bring Johnny Depp and the other guy from the original 21 Jump Street on, like towards the end. So they give you the.
I didn't know they did that. No,
they give you the old school callback on top of being a remake, and like it was everything about it was really really well done, and it was funny, but it like funny in a good way, not funny stupid, but well, I mean there was some funny stupid, but also just funny in general.
Not like modern Hollywood funny though, because they try to manufacture laughs. I guess so they try to like force. It's so forced.
Yeah, the second one wasn't 22 Jump Street wasn't 22 Jump Street wasn't as good. Some things should be just one-offs. Like Hollywood doesn't seem to understand that. Make a movie, let it be a good movie, and then just forget about it. Like, we don't need it.
Never mind.
Oh, never mind.
Oh man.
Sorry guys, I was right the first time.
got this one wrong. Gotta take it back.
Hey, a big man knows to admit when he's wrong. You know, it's you gotta be able to roll that back.
See, Kanye's nothing if not entertaining. Like he's at least entertaining.
He keeps himself in the headlines. You know, it's a skill for sure.
Well, speaking of rolling it back, apparently the Dalai Lama is trying to roll back.
They just need to stop letting people who are 80 and over be public figures.
That was just weird. Was that translated correctly, or did he?
I mean,
it
seems like it.
I'd hope CNN could get it properly translated.
I mean, this chick's name is Manvina Suri, so she probably did the translation herself. Sorry, that was probably racist. Even for me, that was. The Dalai Lama apologizes after a video asking a child to suck his tongue sparks outcry.
God.
It's funny they say in this, I don't like whoever, not him, but the organization or the Dalai Lama company or what the fuck ever, like their like apology thing is like, look, like there's some cultural shit that it's like, you know, like it's customary for people to kiss him and stuff. They're like, but even customs and whatever aside, this is not appropriate. Like this is beyond the whatever.
Steven said he didn't see the headline.
Oh, Dalai Lama asks a child to suck his tongue. Like on stage, I guess basically the kid comes on stage and like to give him a kiss, which I guess is common, like on the cheek. And so he gives him a kiss on the cheek, and then the Dalai Lama's like, now one here, like on my lips, right? And he kisses him on the lips. Again, I guess it says that's not the weirdest thing in the world for these events. But then he says, okay, now suck my tongue or something. Which is very Biden-y. But yeah, the guy's like 88. So like let me just make the case first. Like let's just say he's just too old for the, like, I don't know. Once you're in the 80s, you shouldn't be doing public shit. Because even if you're not like a weird pervert, at some point you're gonna turn fucking senile and ask people to do shit like this. Now on the other side, if you want to say he's a child molester, I'm not gonna argue with you either. I'm just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt as best
Well,
I
and
can.
it says they say that the Dalai Lama is the reincarnation of his 13 predecessors. So maybe it's just one of them that was the pedophile, not actually him.
Old number 9 was pretty fucked up.
Yeah, this wasn't his idea. Like one of those past Dalai Lamas is the one that is into the tongue sucking. It says His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way, even in public and before cameras. I don't know. I guess 2-Bit could be right. Like Tibetans are into some weird. Maybe their version of humor is a little bit different than ours. I can't imagine asking somebody to suck my tongue with it being in a playful way. Like it just doesn't.
Well, that's like so they address that here. They're like, look, we're into weird shit, but that you can't do that, dude. Like,
I mean, if we're gonna go, go that route, why not go? If you're asking, like it could be like a suck my dick kind of joke, but I don't that would be like even.
Oh, he's pulling a Jeremy Kaufman. So you guys are familiar with that instance? He was like, you are okay.
Go ahead and tell it, because I'm sure there's some in the chat who are not.
What he was like, I don't know, some sort of like public like hearing or political thing in like New Hampshire, and like he was like a politician or something there, I think, and a kid like asked him a question, or it was like a 17-year-old student or something asked him a question, and he was like, he's like, fuck you, suck my dick, and it's like. And I wouldn't really think about it. It's like, oh yeah, that is a minor. You probably, even if you don't mean it like literally, like it's just the insult, suck my dick. Probably shouldn't say that to someone under 18. So like, I don't beat him up too badly for it, but it did make me think, oh fuck, I gotta make sure I never, if I'm in an argument with a teenager, never tell him to suck my dick. Cause yeah, that is kind of like solicitation or something, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. It sounds like you're soliciting a minor,
yeah. You're asking a minor.
That's not a request.
Yeah, it's an insult, not a request.
Preface it. You preface it. I'm insulting you. Like
it never would have crossed my mind that like that, like the sexual part of it.
If you have to add specifications to the insult, then it
kind of
steals all the bite of the insult.
Yeah.
Why can't people just have a good sense of humor and be insulted in the normal way instead of being like, "Oh, you're trying to get me to suck your dick"?
You know what I mean? It's like when I say that's gay.
You can't say that anymore,
Well, that was another funny thing in 21 Jump Street where they go back to high school and it's like, he's like, "What are you gay?" And he's like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, the principal is Tim, the guy from Tim Meadows, and he's like, "You look here, man. I'm one little gay black kid getting punched in the face away from having a nervous breakdown." And they were
that's what was so great about that movie too, was because it poked fun at all of that stuff too, like at the same time, like.
Don't you know how bad for the environment it is? Hell yeah. And he's like, well, why are you proud of that? It's like, because back in my day, it's like if you were throwing trash out the window, you were the cool kid, And then it became cool to be the environmentalist,
Yeah, like they're making fun of the nerds, and the nerds are the ones who are now the cool kids. Like,
yeah, we didn't have out black, or not black people. We had out black people. We didn't have out gay people in my day and age, so it's a little different. Did you guys see the thread where it was like people talking about how like, oh man, early 2000s high school was just the best time to be in high school, but I guess all like the modern kids were like, oh man, I can just smell the homophobia in this picture. Like just look at all the racism. Shut the fuck up.
And it was all because like it was mostly white school that they were showing, and that was what they were harping on. They were like, oh look, it's a mostly white school, so I bet there was a lot of like racism and homophobia there,
I'm sorry for too, like my like I was like in high school. It's like, yeah, we said like, oh, that's gay and shit, and we might make fun of we might tell racist jokes or shit, but we genuinely didn't care. Like my two best friends were black and Filipino. Like, we genuinely didn't care. There were kids that like we thought were probably gay or we knew were gay, and we weren't like, let's go beat them up. We might make jokes about the fact he drove a Ford Focus, but we wouldn't. That's just coincidental. Hey, it was the blue 2-door Ford Focus. Very gay car. All right. But we weren't like, let's go drag him behind my truck. It's just...
Look, you got to take him back behind the pickup.
See, we might have beat up that kid that Guillotine's talking about. We might have genuinely beat up that kid wearing the Adam and Steve, not Adam, or Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve shirt.
Yeah, if you like, even as someone like who like believes, it's like those kind of things were just weird. Like, the like, if you have like the Jesus freak, you're like, okay, you're like asking to like get punched in the face. Like,
we weren't against religion or anything or people who were Christian, but that's gay, dude. We might have called you beat you up for wearing the Adam and Steve shirt.
Like,
well, and nowadays gays are doing enough beating themselves up. Apparently, gay youths are more than twice as likely to have sleep trouble. Study finds. You want to know what so I can boil this all down like to the easy why it is that they're having
sex.
No,
instead of sleeping.
No, it said that gay teenagers spend an average of 4 hours more on their phones per day than straight teenagers. Like how
that blue light's fucking them up.
It feels like
no, it's the TikTok. It's TikTok.
I have a couple straight teenagers, and they spend way too much time on their phones as it is. So, like, where is all this time coming from? Are they literally not sleeping because they're on their phones? Like, that has to be the case. Like,
well, it's also parents like parents that aren't involved, and so like the parents just like say, hey, go to your room and just leave them alone. They don't care. Like they don't want to be involved. Like they just want to say like, go shoo, like go away.
That's the whole reason that we have all of these problems with kids these days anyway, with all the trans gay nonsense that's going on.
Kids these days drink.
I'd say it's because the parents aren't involved. The parents don't have anything to do with their kids. They let them be raised by social media. And so this is
and this is like it goes back kind of like y'all were making fun of like the helicopter parent, but like and I get being you can take it too far, but like there's definitely like if I just threw a tablet at my kid and said, hey, here, go watch stuff on YouTube and just like screw off, or whatever, go away, or go away and do something else, and that would probably be the safest thing is just throw them on YouTube Kids or whatever, and
whatever. You got boys, give them a stick and drop them in the woods somewhere. Tell them, go chop that tree down with this stick. They will spend all day breaking sticks trying to get that tree to fall. It's easy. Kids are easy, and you don't need screens and extra stimulation and bullshit. Just drop them off in the middle of the woods somewhere and be like, okay, explore. I'll be back 3 hours from now.
Well, like
really
yesterday,
they go your keys.
Yes, yesterday it was hilarious. He was actually there was my dad got some gravel like trucked in, and so there was a big old pile of gravel, and he just like and there was it rained over there, and so there was like it was kind of wet near the in the gravel some over there, and he just literally just wanted, he was like, oh, I'm gonna take my shoes off, and he just literally wanted to play in the puddle and run up the gravel and jump around on the gravel pile. He did that for like an hour or so. Like,
kids are easy. They don't need tablets and screens and all this bullshit. Just give them something dumb to do, and they will do it for hours on end and not even think about it. It'll be the coolest thing in the world. I don't understand why. Like, every parenting book should begin and end with just like, don't give them screens. That's it. Don't give them screens. Find literally anything else for them to do. Dag, you're muted.
We don't have hills, so the day that the construction site down the street got dropped off a dump truck load of dirt, and there was a big dirt pile, that kept me occupied all weekend. Throwing stuff off of it. Sliding down it. It was just one dump truck load, it was 7 feet tall, but that was like, I was in heaven.
we had an old hay barn, and we would push old hay bales because it wasn't used anymore. Like, it was falling down. So we climb up in the hay loft and push bales down onto the ground, and then jump out of the loft onto those, and then climb back up and do it over and over again. And then just spend all day just
We used to slide
jumping
down
out of a
the
hayloft.
stack of hay. It was the stack of square bales, and the corner of the stack you could like slide down. Yeah, we used to do that. Climb up. And
Yeah,
slide
I
down.
think SDG has it right here though. Like, if you have to have a good relationship with the kid and everything before they get to the point where like they're actually exposed to social media. Because even if you tell them like I don't plan on like letting my kids like have a social media account or anything until they become like let them when they become an adult or whatever, let them do whatever they want. Then but like while they're here, I don't plan on letting them have a social media account because there's just too much that can go wrong there. So, but like, yeah, I mean, if they're going to be exposed to it either way, so you just have to tell them like, hey, like you have to be there with them instead of like just literally just saying screw off. Like
Right.
that's the easier thing to do is just like once you've raised them up until the point where they're a teenager, and now just like screw off, go to your room, do something. I don't want to see you. I don't care. And
Well, yeah, like this that SGG's talking about, like. My brother and I would just dig a giant hole in the yard, and that's double the time out in the yard because number one, you dig the hole, and then after you get done digging the hole, you got to turn around and fill it back in, or Dad's gonna
otherwise
like be mad. So yeah, it's a double time killer. Yeah, see, I'm a little more like the social media thing. I don't think it's some evil thing. I find that social media can be used for
it's just a personality amplifier. Like,
and
I mean, just
like
money.
Like I control the way we use it with the kids. Like their mom is very anti any type of social media account, which is odd. I wouldn't have expected that from her, but she's like very, very anti, and I'm like, Sean has a Twitter account that he's not allowed to use, but it's like I control the way he used it too. Like I knew what, like he was only following like us and people that he's gonna get good ideas and stuff from. And yeah, I mean, he would see other stuff, but anytime he would see other stuff on there, he'd be like, "Look at this crazy bullshit!" Like, language, you're not old enough to be talking like that.
Well, it is ultimately your job as a parent to prepare them for the world. You know what I mean, and to be able to make decisions and hopefully good decisions without you. So I mean, you can't just shelter them. You really you gotta make them trust you. So they listen to you. I don't know.
Well, that's always my argument against or not necessarily argument against, but like whenever people act like homeschooling is the only way to raise your kids, is you have to get your kids out of public school. Like eventually they're going to have to engage with the public. Like you can't shelter them from that forever. And if you're doing it right, if you're parenting right, then like my kids get in trouble because either their classmates or a teacher will say something that's objectively wrong, and they'll be like, no, that's not right. Like this is the actual, Katie had to do a group project with 3 or 4 other little girls, and they wanted to do it on the abortion thing. It was not long after the whole Roe versus Wade was overturned, and how terrible it was that women were being oppressed, and all these, like, it was forcing women to have or to be incubators or what the fuck ever. And Katie, and Katie basically just went through like all of the statistics and studies and everything that I had done a couple podcasts on. And was like, y'all are wrong about everything that you're saying, and then explain to them all the ways that they were wrong. And they were like, oh, we didn't even know that. It's like, yeah, no shit, because you've never, you're not getting exposed to real information. You're just getting propaganda. So like, I don't know, teach your kids how to be firm and how to stand up for what they believe in, and actually raise them right. And then you don't have to worry about that, because they're not like, they tell me about some of the ridiculous shit all the time, and they laugh about it. And they talk about the fake trans kids at school, because none of them are actually trans. They're doing it for attention. And that's the words out of my kids' mouths, is they're not actually trans. They're doing it for attention. That girl's not actually a furry. She just wants to be a bitch and throw cat food at people.
Yeah.
they do dumb shit, and they call out the dumb shit, and they recognize the dumb shit, and then I get emails because of them, and I'm like, I mean, if you can prove to me that my kid is wrong and you're right, then I'll back you, but you're wrong, so, and I can prove to you that you're wrong, so maybe listen to my kid.
Cool. Yeah.
I stumped Trey. He had some deep thought. Speaking of somebody who probably wasn't raised right, let's go with David Hogg playing with his gun.
I was like, when I saw this story, I was like, what the fuck? Of course, at Harvard. We shoot guns at Harvard.
No, you gotta say Harvard. Harvard Law. Isn't he going for law? Like, I think he was gonna go be a lawyer at Harvard, right?
He actually handles it pretty well. I was kind of surprised. I expected him to really be.
His dad is a Fed. What do you expect? Like, did you not know that? Like, his dad's a Fed. So I mean, if he doesn't know how to handle a gun, then I'm concerned.
I like how he's got the vest too. Wearing like a hunter's vest. Really looks like he fits in there. Just got out of his Kenworth. Gonna go do some shooting.
So this is obviously sparking all of the things you would expect on both sides of the gun control debate in his comment section. You got people that are like,
double the spurgs.
You got people that are like, yeah, no shit. Like, this is how the majority of gun owners are. Like, it's obviously it's not the gun. And then you got the people on the other side. They're like, oh, how could you? This is so dangerous. Blah, 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 blah. I'm a fucking retard. I've never seen a gun.
I've seen him say in the last
I don't know what
week,
was he.
It's the gun. It's the gun. It's the gun. So many times. It's the guns. It's the gun.
And then
I've seen him say that. So he can't say that then the guns are, Why didn't he go shoot somebody up? Like, for fuck's sake.
Like, if it's really the guns, like, then, like, why would you ever touch one? Why would you touch? Like, why did you touch one? You were standing right next to somebody too. Like, he was shooting skeet beside other people. So why did they not just turn and shoot him if it's the guns?
One of my favorite comments that I saw was someone posted. They were like, "My great grandfather used a shotgun just like that in the Civil War." And and I don't believe you should be bringing these weapons of war home to It's like, yeah, there was a point in time where the double barrel shotgun was a weapon of war. But
that's funny.
Yeah.
Like,
he's never bring a weapon of war back with him.
Is it implying that he died?
He died at some point.
He like died in the war. It's like he didn't bring one home with him. Like, his body bag, or
well, you guys know MacGyver doesn't use guns. And there's an episode of MacGyver where, like, I don't know, they go back in time to like MacGyver's like great grandpa or something, and he of course was in the Union Army, and he gets out of the war's over, and he goes out west wherever he goes to settle in the mountains, and he gives his gun away. And so like, you're gonna need that out here. And he's like, no, I won't. And he kills a bear with his thumb or some shit. But old MacGyver gets
the MacGyver.
He gets done with the war. He gives away his old Colt. Won't be needing this anymore. You guys like MacGyver?
Yeah, the
original MacGyver, of course.
Yeah, not the reboot. Oh,
yeah.
Terrible.
Although I am pleased they brought back the mullet with the reboot.
Yeah, that was the only good thing.
Yeah.
The rest of it's trash. But yeah, it's funny. They a lot of people call my dad MacGyver because like he can basically, like, it's like he can fix anything. He's good with tools. He's
around here we call that working on a farm. I don't know.
You build a bong out of an apple and a snorkel.
Say, I'm pretty sure my brother has some of our trucks on the farm just running on like a 2-liter bottle of Coke and some
spit and baling wire.
Yeah, there's a lot of duct tape and baling wire.
Man,
Or the Simpsons, Patty and Selma are just in love with MacGyver in the old episodes. Richard Dean Anderson.
Oh, that was the nice
MacGyver.
thing about the nice thing being back home on the farm was like some of the younger farmers in the area will come out to our shop, and my brother will help him work on stuff, and they'll help him work on stuff, and so I got to be there and like work on the airbags had deflated on one of the highboy, like one of the big spray rigs, and so we were like pulling parts off and rigging shit up and trying to get the airbags to reinflate and messing with stuff. Like, I miss this shit. Like, I really do miss just like standing around fucking with farm equipment and trying to fix shit. It's like, it's fun.
Missed the good old days when you could just yell at it. Now you got to fix it. Back to work. Oh shit.
I just got it.
Okay, good.
I got it before you did, Justin. In that sense.
Oh shit.
Oh, what do we want to talk about?
I don't know. I thought we had a few things now.
I do. So, so did y'all see that there was some guy that's like a sales rep or something for Anheuser-Busch or runs like a distribution hub or something. Anyway, he said that they're seeing significant decrease in sales, like having trouble. He said if it continues legit, if it looked to be legit. He said if it continues on the route it's going, he's going to have trouble paying his bills this month. That nothing's moving, which was interesting. I wonder if the same thing will happen as a response to this.
About the prospect of me doing a tampon partnership. It made the news. And then the tampon brands, they got real quiet. And that's okay. Today, I'm going to go hand out all of these extra tampons I have left so that no one can call me a tampon hoarder.
I mean, what's he doing?
Oh, it's that goose bag. I forgot about the goose bag.
Oh my gosh.
It just severely lowered its value being filled with tampons, so.
So what was he doing with the tampons? Like, was
clearly it's you gotta practice. You gotta be able to practice for the real thing. I guess
I don't think those work for like putting it in there to keep it open so that it doesn't close back up. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know how that works. No real experience, and I haven't read the manual. That seems the prospect of reading that manual just seems horrifying. Like, I feel like there's no coming back from that. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with my theory that they use a door stopper and just go with that. But like, what's he doing with them? Like, using them to stuff. I mean, somebody said that they're good for for bloody noses. Is he getting punched in the face that often that he's just like stuffing these things in his nose all day long, or what's going on?
Traumatic gunshot wounds.
I mean, I guess if he's been if he's been getting pounded like a twink that he is, then there's possibly some anal leakage, and you got to stick them in there to plug that up. But that's another one of those things that is pretty fucking horrifying. Everything about this just, I don't know. No good. No bueno.
So, like, over under on is it entirely an act, or is it that, like, is it all an act, or is it just like, okay, I'm going to capitalize on this thing to become famous? Or I mean like, which angle are we going for here? Is it like an angle to become famous, and he doesn't really care that he's having to pretend like he's a woman, and he's just like, okay, well, any route I can get to be famous? Or is it just like, I mean, I cannot tell like what's the angle here. Like, is is he legit? Like, I mean, if he's legit, then this is crazy. But like, if it's like, oh, this is the perfect angle for me to be famous, that would be the primo like way to do it. You know, like, okay, you're taking advantage of the whole trans thing to become famous. Honestly, you know, hats off to you. Like, congrats.
Just
like,
accelerates
you
the inevitable. I did not see any Ellen clips. Do we know what 2-Bit's talking about?
I don't remember the one from Ellen.
No. What are the?
Wonder if we got any gold in there. Was this
I don't think
after?
that's happened. I don't think that's happened yet. SCG. That there's no confirmation, so I'm assuming that, you know.
I'm willing to bet it's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen. I guarantee.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well,
like
that's
that
like supposedly. Supposedly he's taking estrogen or whatever, and one of his ads or sponsorships, he talked about
having a bulge,
taking care of your boobs, and talking about his little boobies. Like everything that I've seen with him doing like the Nike sports bra and stuff, it's like I'm pretty sure I've got more chest
boobs
than like I don't believe he's actually taking estrogen and trying to grow boobs. Like, if anything, there might be some like padding being stuffed in there, and that's about the extent of it. You know, you've seen those
like
padded bras that.
Speaking of speaking of
he
growing
wanted that
boobs,
full experience.
So this guy is I don't know if you know the backstory, but this guy Chris is like a guest on Mr. Beast's channel. Like, he helps with some of the, like, he's basically there to, I don't know, help be some of the entertainment. They're part of the same. They're all in the same group that's the Mr. Beast brand or whatever. And he's been on HRT or whatever, and everybody's saying like, oh, you look stunning and brave, and he actually has a freaking kid. So it's crazy.
That poor kid. Okay, so look, he says only two months, and
he's already got boobs.
Right. So if Dylan's actually been doing this, something should be happening.
Yeah.
I don't buy it for a second.
Like, look, you can tell, like, he no man boobs. Like,
women plus can be part of the IBTC too, you know.
Here I found
exclusive.
I found the Ellen thing. Pull it up.
Oh no.
This is from 2018.
So this is before then the transition thing.
Yeah.
Look,
he was also on The Price is Right, I think, or something like that.
I'm familiar with that.
On national television. Take a look.
He was on The Price is Right. He's been on Ellen.
He's been they've been prepping him for I mean, this had to be planned, like all this shit, like all his TV appearances.
Right, like the whole thing is a stunt. He's been groomed for this, would you say, or at the very least, he's found his shtick, and now like this is just the next portion of the shtick, and eventually it'll run out, and they'll move on to something else probably, or give up the game that this has all been a giant act. Who knows?
Well, I heard a lot of Bud Light references this weekend. Bring that Bud Light, huh? I was telling you guys in the chat. I've got a older boomer friend of mine who sends me old boomer memes and stuff. And anyhow, he sent me a whole text string this weekend about how couldn't believe that Tractor Supply is hosting I'll double check because any new news stories that come up, but Tractor Supply is hosting a all ages drag show and and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. And part of me is like, I don't really know if I believe this. I'm like, where this happening? He goes, California. Where do you think? And I'm like, all right. So I look into it and don't find anything about it. And the only thing I found is something back in November. I guess they had a booth. A Tractor Supply in Texas had a booth at like a Pride event or something. We weren't like sponsoring anything, but anyhow, so I'm like, oh, well, what city did this happen in? And I haven't heard anything back from him. So I don't know if either he got insulted, they think I'm questioning him, or what. But I mean, generally, like we would have talked about it on the show. But I was kind of saying like, oh, give me like evidence, dude, you know. But at any rate, he goes on with a list of all the brands I'm supposed to be boycotting now because of, you know, Jack Daniels, and I'm like, I'm drinking a Busch as he's like chatting with me. I'm like, I'm gonna keep drinking whatever the fuck I want, you know. Like I'm not gonna let you or anybody else, just like the wokesters, you know, tell me what I can and can't consume. But Bud Light is gross, so I don't got to worry about that.
Yeah, piss water.
Tranny maintenance. They've got all sorts of gender fluids. Well, I mean, it'd be a story for the show if it did happen. Like, I wasn't trying to be like combative. I did kind of genuinely not really believe what he was telling me. But
well, I mean, like you know, it's like we would know if some of those brands, like because those are supposed to be more like, you know, I guess that would be more right leaning brands, I guess, than
they play Christian music in the store, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, I found your.
It'd be like Hobby Lobby all of a sudden.
Is there one?
I found your Tractor Supply thing.
What you got? It's not the one from November in Texas, is it?
Yeah,
that's the only thing I could find.
That's literally the only thing.
And everything I could read on that was, that they weren't hosting a. Yeah, they're not hosting a. They, from what I could understand, they had a booth at like some local event.
Right. Tractor Supply's official statement was that it was a like a recruiting tool to promote hiring and everything for the store, and that they were assured that it would be family friendly with food trucks, normal music and bands, and there was no mention of any inappropriate entertainment. We do not condone this type of entertainment, nor would we support any event that included it. We've expressed our strong concerns, frustration, and disappointment about this to the organizers. So, like, Tractor Supply came out completely in the opposite of what that was. Like, they were not in support of that at all, and felt like they had gotten hoodwinked for the fact that it had happened. So,
yeah.
I mean, Tractor Supply does. So, Tractor Supply. And
they do have California locations. I checked.
Right, and I'm pretty sure Rural King and some of the others, like, they do support local businesses and stuff like that. And so, if there are local businesses that are run by,
if there's a local gay bar,
if there's a local Rainbow Coalition farmers market or something, yeah, they probably support that. Like they're more about the actual community and stuff than they are about. They're not doing it to support some agenda or some.
They just want to sell more corn,
right? Like don't cut off your nose to spite your face with a customer base that might, and odds are the people who are part of those types of communities aren't the crazed like lunatics that are giving a bad name to those communities either. Like they're probably people who probably more identify as farmers and stuff like that, and just happen to also be LGBTQ plus AI.
There's a gay couple who lives near me. It raises chickens. They got to go to Tractor Supply too, and they're
right.
And they're manlier than just about half the other dudes out there these days. I was telling you guys that I was at the farmer's market this last weekend, and I got a new top for my tent, so it's a little tight, and it takes two people to really get it clicked up. And I'm like, oh man, I need to find like the burliest dude around to give me a hand with this. And I walk throughout the whole farmer's market, and it's all old women and old men, and I find the 6'2" dyke with the butch haircut. I'm like, can you give me a hand with something real quick? And she's like, oh yeah, no problem, let's do it. Like, awesome, thanks.
All right, let's see. Let's wrap it up with an update on our. So I'm pretty sure we talked about the dog fucker on Friday. Let's we'll update
bear fucker.
That story.
Do you need assistance?
It's such a good movie. I don't think I've watched that with Sean yet. That's I got to put that on our to-do list.
He's at the age where that's appropriate.
Yeah, I think he can handle it. So the investigators released details into the chick in Mississippi who was arrested for animal abuse for fucking a dog. So she admitted that it was her in one of the videos, but she stated that she was forced to do it and that it occurred over a year ago somewhere else, not there where they're saying that it did, except that the Snapchat data and the iCloud data show that she's lying about all of that. It happened in January, and it happened exactly where they think it did. And it's not just the one time; it was multiple. And it's like,
wear the pup play mask. Why would you not wear the pup play mask so you can't be identified? It seems like the perfect use for it.
The leather covers up.
I know, and apparently, the point of having a beautifully crafted, handmade leather mask, you're not even going to wear it during your pup sex scene. I don't get it.
And apparently, from the Snapchat and iCloud data, it like she did it in the parking lot of a church. She did it in a whole bunch of other places. Like, she's about to get multiple charges from different counties for the same thing, because apparently she was like traveling around doing taking this show on the road.
They're gonna hit her with the Mann Act.
She's fucked, and not by her dog either.
Yeah, yeah.
Just imagine if she also was going to a man after she lets the dog go, and then she goes to a dude and hooks up with a dude.
The next day he opens up his I don't know, Snapchat or whatever it is, drinking his coffee. My mouth was just there. What the fuck?
Said she could do. Oh fuck! They said her. She's got $25,000 bond and could face up to 10 years in prison if found guilty.
That seems steep. The prison part.
I mean,
10 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's appropriate, but I don't know. It's
what right? What
that's enough time. See, that's enough time.
How
she'll be in prison with a lot of women or women plus.
So how long
she'll get back used to having?
How long was Michael Vick? How long was Michael Vick in prison for killing dogs and running a dog fighting ring? Because however long he was in prison for that, they need to take a little bit off of it, because she wasn't killing anything. She was just
longer.
She was just pleasuring it, or letting it pleasure her, or however that works. I don't think I really want to know.
Pull up the video. Let's see.
There are some things that
I don't want to see.
There's some things that you see on the internet and you're like, oh, what the fuck? And you're like, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. It's better not to. My poor search history is already so fucked anyway from finding shit for the show as it is. I definitely can't type that in, because I just feel like I don't know. I try to do a really good job of remaining positive and upbeat about life and the general direction of the world. And there are some things that I feel like if I started looking into it, there's just no coming back from that. I'd be completely doom pilled, and be all right, I'm gonna need the
fucking dogs forever.
I'm gonna need the nuclear codes.
We're gonna
live in
use
Australia.
The
they do a lot of that shit down there.
I think
people do a lot of dog breastfeeding in New Zealand.
Wait, what?
No, wait. He's gonna search it.
So kangaroos are because they keep the little joeys in the pouch. Are the nipples down there, or are they up here? How does that? Because you see the male kangaroos that are all jacked and they got the pecs. So is that? I don't want it. Never mind. See.
All right, this is from 2004. So I'm just going to show you. There's a pattern here. But this is New Zealand. Breastfeeding your pet dog. Yeah. She's
breastfeeding the dog?
Yeah. Yeah, it drinks more than a baby, and it doesn't hurt.
I've seen the way that the baby. I've seen the way the baby goat nurses, and there's a lot of headbutting involved. I feel like that would not be a particularly pleasant experience.
My goat's ass gets airborne when they come up headbutting her teeth. She's like, bam, bam. Like, oh God, that's gotta hurt. I'll be more gentle. I've got a video here. I don't know. Can we play a Key and Peele clip, or would that get us kicked off?
I mean, this is going to be what closes the show. So worst case scenario, we just crop out the end.
It's like a 4-minute video. So I don't know if that's too long, but it's a Key and Peele bit about DeGrasse Tyson that I remember being kind of funny. If you guys wanted to watch it as a closer,
yeah, fire it up.
Should I just share screen or should I send it to you?
Share screen.
Okay. Here we go. Yeah, this is what it's like to be married to DeGrasse Tyson.
This is back when Key and Peele were fun.
If my internet will play.
Sputnik is done pissed on my drapes. Now I've got to get rid of those things and get new ones. Neil, it doesn't make any sense. You're an astrophysicist. How can you not keep track of little details like this?
Well, it's the little details that cannot be kept track of by definition. In 1927, a German university lecturer named Werner Heisenberg came to a paradox conclusion that the more about the position of a particle in physical space, the less we know about its momentum, and vice versa.
Okay, but what?
Taken in conjunction with what we know about the expansion of the universe, this brings us to a fascinating possibility that maybe what we experience as one point in time-space could actually be a legion of points. Which would mean that your curtains and little Sputnik's pee-pee could be as distant from one another as we are from the first.
What are you doing? We have to go to my Aunt Nellie's funeral. How were you not ready? About this all week. How am I going to find you in your box looking at a science magazine? I swear, Neil, sometimes I think...
Well, actually, an idea of what's important is as close as we can ever come to any definition of importance. Our galaxy is it would take light 100,000 years to traverse.
Okay,
but that's just space universe. On one calendar year,
wife's a man.
The history of mankind as we know it would just take place in the final second of that year. So, whether I'm ready now or in 500 years, well, cosmically speaking, the distinction is meaningless.
Well, okay. I'm going now.
Goodbye, honey.
Who is she? Who is the white bitch that left this goddamn lipstick stain on your collar? Oh, I got you. You're caught. Because this is apricot colored. And you know who wears that? White bitches. And you can't talk your way out of this one because I'm not getting confused today because I got my order and I done my research. Okay? Hey, Neil. You see, we are here. You a trifling ass mother. So expect the papers from the lawyer because we're parting ways.
Well, we are
actually-
always parting ways and not parting ways in every conceivable combination. Many physicists, including Stephen Hawking, now believe that there is an infinite number of universes. It's called multiverse theory. And it suggests that there are an infinite number of universes in which I didn't have sex with that white woman.
I feel Bill Nye, the science guy.
You bitch.
I fuck Bill Nye.
Oh, I love it. Back when Key and Peele weren't retarded.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.